Welcome to another episode of Football POV. Now, first up, the Premier League are proposing that we could be playing less than 45 minutes on each half to reduce the chance of catching coronavirus. How much are they looking to take off each half? Down to 40 minutes? Will 5 minutes make a difference? Down to 35 minutes? Will 10 minutes make a difference? Or 20 minutes, 20 minutes in the full match. But I don't understand. I don't see the point of it. If football is not safe enough to play a full game for 90 minutes, then don't bring it back. If 10 minutes is going to make the difference between life and death, then don't play the game. I'm serious. I can understand you don't want a certain amount of people in and amongst it. You don't want the fans in there because the fans, you can't. You're trying to minimalise it as much as possible. But when you're completely changing the game, it's no point. No one wants to see a game that's 70 minutes. No one wants to see a game that's 80 minutes. That's trash. Stop putting these proposals on, crowbarring games in. If it's not ready to play, then do not play it. Simple facts. Now, the other thing they proposed is that there be neutral games. Personally, I don't have a problem with neutral games. Neutral games, it makes no difference to me. There's going to be no fans there anyway, so why not play at a neutral ground, which is potentially in a safer place for players to be, for ambulance to be, and for police to be. It's not a problem. But reducing the game by a certain amount of time, it makes no sense. Just don't play it. That's the best amount of time you can reduce it if you think that it's not safe. Just don't play it. No time at all. But neutral grounds I'm up for. Because like I said, there's no fans. So it makes no difference. Yeah, the players might feel a bit, that they haven't got the creature comforts of their own dressing room. And they haven't got that badge. And they haven't got that locker. But you get over it. Some of the proposals I heard early doors, they were talking about playing in Australia, in Qatar. Like these places are immune from the coronavirus. Last time I checked, that wasn't the case. Even Tom Hanks got it in Australia. So what's stopping Todd Cantwell from getting it on Australia? It's not. So leave your harebrained ideas out of it, yeah? Keep the smart ones in. Neutral ground, it works. Reducing game time, no. Reduce the people involved, yes. Don't change the game. Don't change the game because people are not that desperate to see that. They're not. And we know it's not about us. We know it's not about the fan, which is what some journalists or some clubs like to try and claim. It's for the fan. You've got to keep integrity for the fan. Well, the fans are not that bothered if you're going to start reducing the time in the game. I'm sorry, I'm speaking for everyone. No one wants to see a reduced game. How do you guys feel about the games being moved to neutral grounds? Personally, I'm for it if it means it's safer for everyone. But what do you feel? Let me know in the comments. Next. A little side note. This show isn't just for Premier League. It's for all clubs, anywhere. So if you want to hear about your club, give me a shout. I'll do a bit of research. I don't mind. I love this. If you want to hear transfers about your club, I'll look into it. If you want to hear news about your club, I'll look into it. Right now, I'm picking the obvious. The obvious clubs, the big clubs, the clubs that are out there, clubs that I like to talk about. But if you guys are watching and I'm not mentioning your club, let me know and I'll speak about them. I know I've got links. I told you, we bring experts to this show. So help me use them. Let me know what clubs you support and I'll find out more about them. That was just a little side note. Next up, this is a big one. I'm going to start with words verbatim, yeah? Because this was an inspirational quote from Rapinoe, and she's a baller, yeah? To every girl out there, to every boy out there who watches their team, who wants their team, to every girl out there, to every boy out there who watches this team, who wants to be in this team, or just wants to live their dream out, you are no lesser just because you are a girl. And she's true. She's right. She's 100% right. The women's game, the men's game, it's together. Do you know what I mean? And especially more in recent years, the level of the women's game has been upped so much. It's the pace of the women's game, progression-wise, has been so much quicker than the men's game. It's unbelievable. But that is in part because of the men's game. I'm not saying it's because of men. Don't get it twisted. I'm saying it's because of the men's game. Because of the mistakes the men made in their game, because of the mistakes the men made in bringing the Premier League, bringing football to the level it is now, the women won't have to make them mistakes. Yes, they've had a lot of prejudice. Yes, they've had a lot of walls and barriers they've had to break through, and it's not fair. It's not fair. But we're talking about making women's pay and men's pay equal. Now, can you categorically say that women's pay and men's pay, when it comes to football, should be equal? Are they bringing in the same revenue? That's what it boils down to. Surely you have to be wary of moving wages up so fast that it can't compete. Is there enough money in the women's game to have them on the same level as men? And you have to be careful with the money side of things. You've seen in the men's side that they're not immune from any scenario. We thought we were. We thought we were. But it's taken a bat burger and a few undisclosed trips abroad to shut the world down. Now, eventually we'd all love to be on the same wages. We'd all love to be on the same pay. But you have to think long term. You have to think long term. And if a few struggles now, in the long term, will be the gain of many, I'm sorry, but that's what you've got to do. And you should be the voice of that. Because sometimes I just feel like it's more for you as opposed to for the whole of the gender, which it's being made out to. And I hope I'm wrong. Because you seem like a good person. But when it comes to this right now, that's my view on it. Feel free to argue with me to change my mind. Because I'm willing to have a debate about it. But I'm going to look into it because I need more facts. But the women's and men's game is far apart. And not just in years and quality. So until it's up to that level, you can't be getting paid that. Next. And last up, my man, the Flying Dutchman, Dennis Bergkamp, has teamed up with Henrik Larsson, Dirk Kuyt, and Philip Cocu in a consortium to buy an unnamed English club after failing to buy Wycombe Wanderers last year. Now, this is an exciting prospect for the fact that he's an Arsenal legend. And other than that, that's about it. But still, Dennis Bergkamp's coming back to England, and we know he's not going to go very far unless it's by boat or car. So he's staying in England. So potentially, one day he could come back to Arsenal. Maybe. But this isn't about Arsenal. This is about the consortium of legends. Minus Dirk Kuyt. Maybe a cult legend. But anyway, with the coronavirus pandemic crumbling clubs and potentially making them bankrupt or going into administration, Super Agent of one of the biggest media groups in the world is the brains behind the takeover.
And what a brain he has, obviously.
It's said they were so close to buying an unnamed English club. But then a foreign investor snapped them up. But they're not going away anytime soon. They're still looking for an English club to buy, and they're keeping their lips tightly sealed. Because they don't want to be snapped from underneath their feet again. Smart. The consortium is said to be very disappointed that they missed out on the club, but they're not going away anytime soon. So watch this space, because we could potentially be seeing Dennis Bergkamp, Dirk Kuyt, Philip Cocu, Henrik Larsson, and some other Mac Daddy G who owns a company worth 3.2 billion running an English club. So, I mean, that would be exciting just because of Dennis Bergkamp. And Henrik Larsson. It's not that important. But on that note, that's the end of the show. Be sure to tune in next week. Don't forget to check my shows on Sunny TV Arsenal. Also, don't forget to check out Sunday's show on Sunny TV Arsenal. There's so much going on at the moment. I'm so busy. It's killing me. But it's for a good cause. It's for you. Oh, God. That's for you. Anyway, on that note, peace out. Stay safe and wash your hands.